Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Today we are doing a hangout and Q&A. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. And thank you, replay crew, for watching this when you couldn't be here live. And first things first, everybody in here, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. That way we can show some love to the stream. YouTube will show us some love in return for sharing all of my stuff out there. So let's see who we got in here. Looks like we got Jamie. Hey, how are you, Jamie? Tim from Crypt Keeper Aquatics. What up, Kyle? What's up, Tim? Laura Walters, welcome to the stream. How are you, Laura? Mexicali Fish Keeper. Thank you so much for becoming a member last time. Zen Ginger. She says, sup, Kyle, Amber, wherever she is, and Shrimpy People. She's putting away groceries currently, and then she will be in here. She wanted to go get the groceries before the stream started, so that way she could jump in. So that looks like everybody. Well, thank you. Big shout out to all of my members. Go ahead and emoji bomb for everybody who is a member. Definitely appreciate it. And if you are not a member, feel free to join. So that way you get all of these lovely emojis. Yes, you too can have shrimp emojis to share with the group chat. And since we have 10 members, I am able to create more emojis. So, hey, there she is. Hey, baby. And so now that we have more members, I can actually create more emojis. So I was thinking about giving you guys the opportunity to tell me what type of shrimp you would like to see as an emoji. I was thinking about doing the dragon bloods or the calcios, but if there's another shrimp you would like to see as a emoji, go ahead and let me know so that way we can add that to the lineup. Mark Shelley, how are you, sir? Welcome to the stream. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Killer Kitty blasting off with some emoji bombs. So thank you guys so much. Definitely appreciate it. All right. So we will get into it. And I have the camera on the coal tank as of right now, but I want to see how it goes to show some other shrimp. So since I set up the shrimp room, I haven't quite figured out the best camera angles to get these top tanks to show up. There's just massive glare, so it looks kind of weird, but we'll go ahead and see if we can get some of the top tanks going and showcase some of those shrimp. Yes, absolutely. I was looking at it last night. So Zen Ginger says, hurry up and make the emojis. YouTube won't take them away if someone's membership lapses. But if it happens before you make them, they won't let you. Yeah, I found that out. So definitely want to get in there and make them as soon as you can so that way they don't disappear on you. Julianne Scott, first time streamer, or first time to the stream, I should say. Haven't seen you before. If you've been in before, welcome back. Says, hey, I'm establishing a shrimp tank, but the pump that I have is destroying my water lettuce and duckweed, I assume. What kind of pump are you using? Because if you have a lot of surface agitation, then that's going to, ruin those top water floating plants because they don't like to get wet. I know it's the strangest thing, but if you have a lot of humidity, if you don't have open gaps in the top of your aquarium, if the tops of the floating plants are getting wet from your filter, or if they keep getting dunked into the water, then they're going to start to melt. They're going to start to die. So you don't want something that's going to really dump a whole bunch of water on top of those floating plants. You want it to, agitate the water without dunking them under. So if you could avoid that somehow, that would be the way to go. Crypt Keeper throwing up the tang tie emoji, orange and black. You could actually see some tang ties in the coal tank. There's a couple of them that look really good. And I'd love to start a colony of those. I know they're not the most sought after shrimp, but they actually look really cool. On that far right side, you can see one. Basically, it's a tangerine tiger with white, kind of almost fishbone pattern. Doesn't have the back stripe. So it doesn't have that back line, but it's definitely got those white stripes. They look awesome. And you can get those by basically mixing a Tangerine Tiger with a Taiwan B. So Taiwan B, Crystal Black, Crystal Red, Blue Bolt, King Kong. These more than likely were crossed with the Blue Bolts, because that was majority of this tank was Shadow Mazuras. So I had a bunch of Shadow Mazuras, which was the Blue Bolts with the black spots on the head. Like that one up top, you can see it just swam out of frame. That would be the Shadow Mazura. It's got that, black spot instead of the blue head. So those Tangerine Tiger mixes are more than likely from a Tang Tai with a, Taiwan B. I'm not sure how a Tang Tai emoji would look though. I can always throw one together and see. Laura Walter says, "Oh my, I throw Frogbit away by the handfuls." Yeah, Frogbit will breed prolifically. I was actually making quite a bit of money by selling Frogbit, just posting it on Facebook. People were buying it up like crazy. Amber's going to go make some lunch, and then she will be back. New local Austin says, "Yo, nice bingo pull winner." Yeah, I won $60 at bingo yesterday. I took Amber out to lunch with it, so that was always nice. Jamie says, "Tang Tai with hollow eye." You got to remember these emojis are like a 60 by 60 pixel square. They're not very big, so got to pick something that's going to show up when I shrink it down to size. Amber says, "I'm convinced he's cheating at bingo." I just go and hope to win some money, and whatever happens, happens. All right. Killer Kitty says, "Selling Frogbit to people like me who kill it." It's okay. It happens. I struggled with floating plants for a while, and then I got rid of all my hang on the back filters. Once I switched to sponge filters, like that was the way to go. All right, so let's see if I could shrink this chat a little bit. There we go. Don't need to see myself so much. Just got to see what you guys are saying. I like to have the YouTube chat up as well as the StreamYard chat. That way I can see if anybody, becomes a member or does any super chats or anything like that. If you guys aren't aware, YouTube has created something called Super Thanks now. So when you're watching somebody's videos, you can actually, in the comments, leave them a super thanks, which is kind of like a sticker, to where it's a monetized sticker, sends them, I think it's like a couple bucks or something, but it's just a monetary way of saying thank you. So if you see somebody's video out there that you like, you could send those super thanks, which I thought was pretty cool. I love that YouTube's doing all that it can to help out the streamers and, get them some revenue so they can continue to do what they love and be compensated for it. There's another hybrid in here, not far left side if you look. I'm not sure what it was crossed with, but he's black, so it might have been like an orange eye blue tiger crossed with like a blue bolt or something, and it looks really cool. Yeah, definitely some interesting colors in this tank. I'm glad I was able to save them from whatever was happening, because last week after the stream, so I was doing that feeding video, I threw the shrimp lolly in there, and then after the stream I was like, oh, there's a shrimp that's not doing well, and I'm like, that's not good. And coincidentally, my orange eye blue tigers were struggling, so whatever had gotten into my orange eye blue tiger tank had gotten into the coal tank as well. I did lose my last dragon blood. So my dragon blood female, she's a trooper. She just couldn't handle whatever had happened, and she didn't make it. So she was one of the casualties. But everybody's doing good now. Everybody looks nice, happy, and healthy. And as you can see, just absolutely swarming on this food. And today I'm feeding the Shrimp King Complete. So just my normal everyday feed. and they go crazy for it. It's been a few days since they've had it. So whenever I have an issue with the tank, I always go a few days with no feeding. So if you start to see problems, first thing is don't feed. You're just going to add to the issues of the tank. Look at that. Like, I want to say it's like it's an Aura Blue Cross, so like a green apple, but it doesn't look green apple. It almost looks like a faded out Aura Blue right up front there. I want to say that's one of the females that just released her eggs. So this tank has so many buried females. I'm expecting that there's going to be just a massive boom of babies going on, and we'll see what happens in this tank in the future. I did just put in some. I almost spilled my water again. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It happens almost every stream. And then I'm standing in cold water. Yeah, so there's just going to be a massive baby boom in this tank here soon, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I did just put some fancy black tigers in here. So I had gotten some fancy black tigers from Grant, and I showed him the ones that I was going to mix with it, and he was telling me that they're a type of hybrid. So he said that the fancy blacks that I have some Serrata genes in them. So for the fancy black tigers, they're the other type of tiger shrimp to get those, the Marii. So Caridina Marii is what you want to breed to get the fancy tigers. I'd have to check my notes. Don't quote me on that. I'm no way an expert or in any shape or form. Still learning, just like all of you. Laura says, I kill Salvinia. I actually think mystery snails ate it. It's a possibility. I've watched them eat duckweed. I've watched them eat frog bits, all kinds of floating plants. Zen Ginger says, yeah, that's why YouTube did it and not their 30%. Hey, I will take 70% of something over 70% of nothing. I'm okay with that. Mark Shelley says, used to have lots of floaters, but duckweed was just too much to handle. Only floaters I have now is duckweed. I haven't pulled out yet. Yeah, the duckweed gets to be a lot, but duckweed is a great shrimp food. So if you can harvest it, if you can, breed it successfully, or not breed it, if you can propagate it successfully, like if you struggle with duckweed, then you're not meant to have floaters. But if you can get it to be producing a lot, you can actually use it to, make some good food. Big Dog, hey, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Jamie says, your last dragon blood died? That means you just need to send me all your shrimp and start over at Cherry. Oh, gosh. No, like looking back over the last 2 years, I should have just started with Caridina. I would have learned so much. Kevin Tam, hello, Kyle. Can you show us how to make carbon filter? Thanks. Yeah, Kevin, actually, if one of my admins or moderators wants to post a link, I just posted a video on how to make the carbon filter, as well as I did a YouTube short on how to make the carbon filter. So what this is it's just a filter that you want to use in the event that you think something got into your tank. So if you think there's some type of contaminant in your tank, you never have issues, your water parameters are on point, you do water changes with no problems, and all of a sudden you see rapid deaths, possible foaming or bubbles on top of the tank, then that's a sign that, something got into the tank, whether it's an aerosol or something that was on your hands. Now, this filter should be used as a 3 to 4 day thing. It's not something you want to keep in the tank all the time, especially the one that I made, because the one that I made it's not baby shrimp friendly. The baby shrimp can climb into it. They can just get sucked up into that little tornado, which they may be able to get out. Most shrimp, as soon as they feel any type of suction, they jump away. So they're pretty good about, getting away from stuff like that. But, baby shrimp also aren't very strong. So if they just swim up to it, get sucked in, then, that's a way that they can, get trapped in there. So definitely something that you want to use as a temporary thing. Keep it in there for a few days until you don't see any more deaths. And if you, notice an issue again, you can throw it back in there, but don't leave it in there. Laura says, I see eggs. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's tons of buried females in this tank. This is by far my favorite tank. It's the largest shrimp tank that I have at 29 gallons. It's the most heavily planted with 5 types of moss. And it just, when it does well, it does well. When it does not do well, everything dies. So I've gone through many ups and downs with this tank. And right now we're in an up period, you know, after that little hiccup we had with the few deaths going on. But yeah, that Shadow Missouri up front right there. Look at her belly. She's exploding. And that's what I love about this tank is you never know what male got to her. I have no clue. I have no clue what male like found its way to her. So when she finally releases those eggs, I'm not going to know it was her babies. They're probably going to look nothing like her. So you have no idea. And I know some people are like, oh, you want to keep your lines pure. You want to do this. But this is a cold tank. This is where, you know, all my shrimp who don't fit in go. This is the Isle of Misfit Shrimp. I would love to separate out all those Shadow Missouri's and start a tank by themselves because I like that. I like that black head. And they're more sought after than the blue bolts as far as price wise. I don't know as far as demand goes, but price you can get a little bit more for the Shadow Missouri's than you can just regular blue bolts. And some of the blue bolts in here look really good. Oh my gosh, that tangerine, that Aura Blue, that Serrata shrimp. We're just gonna call them Serrata shrimp. That Serrata up front, she was just bursting. I don't think she could fit any more eggs under her if she tried. Zen says, you need one of those wide base mugs to drink from. You can't knock it over, and they come with a lid. It's basically an adult sippy cup. I love mine. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, the cup I use right now is my lovely wife, Amber, actually made it for me. So she got into cup tumbling, but she has a printer that she can print vinyl decals and says, I just want to go fishing and ignore all of my adult problems. And then she actually made this like wood grain on it. So this thing's very top heavy. As soon as I kick it and tip it over, it'll fall right over. Well, let's see if we can go the whole stream without spelling it. I got it on the desk now, so it should be okay. All right, Jamie, what you got for me? Jamie says, Kyle, do you add prime to your RO water? Also, do you test for chlorine and see if your carbon cartridge is exhausted? Like from the start. So my TDS comes out at 0. Normally, if you start to see like a TDS climb, that's when you'll start to have chlorine show up. But because of my water so terrible, I change my carbon cartridges pretty often. I've already changed it twice since I've moved in the last 4 months. So I've changed my RODI or my DI resin about 3-4 times now. So I'm pretty sure that's fine. Like if it was coming out at like 2 or 4, then I would be worried. But I do add prime to make sure that there's no chlorine or chloramine. And I also add vitamin C. So vitamin C will remove chlorine. And then I age the water and aerate it so that way the pH stabilizes. And then if there is any chlorine, it off gases. But the prime will remove chloramines and heavy metals. So I'm overcautious. I make sure everything is, on point. I'm not going to take a risk over, an old cartridge. I'd rather replace it when I start to see that TDS climb. And if I have a batch of RO that has a higher TDS, I use it to top off my pond outside for the aquaponics. So I'll just purge that whole 30 gallons and I'll start over with a new filter and everything. Laura says, Cherry, getting no love. Just got Red Riding Hood. Think it's going to be a big challenge getting them nice. The red is really patchy. You got this. Got hair on my microphone. Thank you, Jamie, for sharing that video. Big Dog says, I have shrimp baby, but they die. I would check your water parameters, check your nitrates, check your TDS as well as your GH and KH. If your baby shrimp are dying, then you might have high nitrates. You might not have enough food for them. The water parameters may not be exact. So that's a good place to start. Just make sure your water parameters are on point. Baby shrimp molt very often. A baby shrimp will molt. I couldn't tell you the exact number, but multiple times in a 2-week period. Even they molt so much from when they're babies to juveniles that they can adapt to a lot of things. So if your babies are dying, that definitely shows that something's off. Because if something's off, I'll lose adults more than I'll lose the babies. The babies will stick it out. Baby shrimp are pretty tough and they get used to stuff. If you have some more of the like rare crossbred, like Galaxy Pentos and fancy black and red tigers, then those shrimp are going to be a little bit more finicky, a little bit more picky. But if you're just running like cherry shrimp or Neos or, some basic like Taiwan bees or crystal shrimp, then something's way off, because crystals and Taiwan bees, they can adapt to a lot of stuff, even if your water parameters aren't on point. But first step, like I said, would be checking your water parameters. What kind of shrimp do you keep? Jamie's on the same page. Kevin Tam says, have you calculated the money that you have spent in this hobby? We're going to skip that question. Too much. Big Duck says, good. TDS 135, pH 6.5. Thanks, Jamie. Brian Gonzalez, hey, I love your content. Thanks, Brian. Definitely appreciate it. I love creating content for you guys. All right, let's see. Laura says, I thought of a good discussion question for today. 10-gallon aquarium, narrow or wide display, and why? I see you did narrow on your rack. It's all about space. It's all about what you want to do. So if you want to have a few tanks that you're like, my headset's not even, it was lopsided, it's OCD. If you have a few tanks that you want to display and like showcase some really nice shrimp, then do the wide display. If you're just doing it for breeding and you want to view your shrimp occasionally, not really a show tank, then do horizontal, because it's when you're breeding for numbers and breeding for profit and to sell, you want to compact as much space as you can. Because I have 16 shrimp tanks right now, and I could easily double that and still not have enough tanks for all the projects I want to do. Because realistically, if you're breeding tanks, you want 3 tanks for each kind. You want to have a tank for your extra males. You want to have a tank for your breeding set, and then you want to have a grow out of your shrimp that you're selling. So that would be my ideal setup. If I was doing blue bolts, I would have a tank of blue bolt males, and those would be like my choice males that are backups essentially, because you don't want to have too many males in a tank. That's going to add to the bioload. That's going to add to just, extra food that the shrimp that you want to breed and sell could be eating. So that would be my goal is, have a tank for the males, have a tank for your breeding pairs, have a tank for your grow out. So, once the babies get to a decent size, then drip acclimate them to the new tank. So that way they can grow out in that tank instead of having to fight for food with the adults. So that would be my ideal setup for just breeding one type of shrimp. Now add 10 types of shrimp on there and you're easily at 30 tanks. Add a coal tank in there, we're at 31, add whatever else you want to think. So it all depends on what you want to do. If you just want to have a few really nice shrimp, colorful shrimp, then set up a few displays. You don't have to do like I do and have a bunch. Either way, it just all depends on functionality and what you're looking for. Absolutely. You can fit more. Everybody's all for more tanks, it looks like. Hey, Ryan, how are you, man? Yes, please go hit the like button. Show YouTube that you love me as much as I know you all do. Laura says, was thinking it was more stable on rack 2 and I can get 2 tanks under one 10-gallon light. I don't have rack, but a second kitchen downstairs, so they're all over the counters. Yeah. Wherever you can fit tanks, do it. Papa Shrimp. Hey, Jerry. How are you, man? He says, hey, Kyle, in the process of slowly filling a tank, it will still be filling when I go live. LOL, filtration is a great topic, especially for starting / cycling a tank. Absolutely. Catch up on chat real quick. James says, I love shrimp and soy sauce. That's a great question. How much have you spent on this hobby? What? Amber, his hobby supports itself. I haven't sold anything lately, Jamie. YouTube is helping to cut the bill, but not by much. Jamie, I feel like YouTube pays for some of his hobby. Yes. We're in the beginning stages. You got to build, and then it'll start to pay for itself. Right now, we're just spending money on shrimp, which is okay. We don't spend money on shrimp. We invest. Yes. And then Kyle kills them. Hit like to support Amber for putting up with Kyle. Kevin Tam says, how's your ADA soil tanks? They're doing good. I haven't done a water change on them just yet. Right here, this guy. No algae or anything. Haven't tested ammonia. So after I had the contaminants, whatever it may be, I cleaned everything. I cleaned my RO storage. I cleaned my jugs. I cleaned my drip lines. I cleaned my tools. I cleaned my nets. I cleaned basically anything that would touch the tanks. Anything that I feel could have possibly caused the contaminant, I made sure to clean it. So I dumped all the RO water I had. So once that kind of dries out from the washing with the tap water, then I'll refill it and I'll do a water change on all the tanks in here, and then whatever I have left, I'll empty the ADA tanks and top off with new stuff. And Jerry, I haven't ignored your question. I'm just catching up on the chat real quick. I think Kyle handles his money for the hobby much better than I do. I try. I don't want to say stingy. I'm very conservative when it comes to my shrimp tanks. That's why I have the, 4 for $20 filters in my tanks. Yeah, so filtration in a new shrimp tank, it all depends on a lot of things. Because if I could run canister filters in every single one of my tanks, I absolutely would. A canister filter is a great way to have more surface area. You're going to have a lot more oxygenation. So if you have one shrimp tank, like get a nice canister for it, get that in the tank, get your bacterial powders going, get your live bacteria in there, give it the 4 to 6 weeks to really cycle, add some snails, add some plants, whatever you want to do. And then I would say canister filter, hands down, or a sump, best way to go. I feel like a canister is a little bit easier to control the babies getting into it versus the sump itself. You could just put a little pre-filter sponge on the intake. But if I wasn't running 16 tanks in this room right now, I would have a canister on every single one, because I feel that's the way to go. And besides that, if you're running a bunch of tanks, if you have a rack set up and you've got 5 air pumps and this and that, and to run a canister or a hang on the back in every single one of those tanks, think of the amount of electricity, think of the amount of plugs alone you would have to have just to set up those tanks. So it all depends on what you want to do and your end game. If you've got a couple tanks, you may be able to link that canister together to, distribute it that way with some overflows. But I like the sponge filters. I feel like sponge filters are the most cost effective, most effective in general. And, some people feel that they're unsightly, but I've been able to, cover my sponges with enough plants that you can't really see them, that if you are doing a show tank, it's not too bad. But if you've got a rimless tank, with this nice, beautiful scape, and you spend a bunch of time like laying every single plant and rock, you're not going to slap a sponge filter right in the middle of it, because that's just going to throw everything off. So you're going to get a canister filter. You're going to get some nice clear glass lily pipes and make it look good. But for cycling a tank, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. You want to throw some sponge filters in there, then go for it. If you want to throw a hang on the back, just make sure that it's shrimp appropriate. Add your bacterial powders to help get the bacteria going. Add your Florinbacter or Seachem stability, whatever you want to do to get that bacteria going and started. That's what you want to do. Thank you for the tangent, Jerry. Let's see. Jamie says, I find my Neo sales support my Caridina addiction. Yes, I was selling more Neos than I have sold Caridina. Amber says, I'm happy as a hobby and something that he loves. He works so hard and provides an amazing life for us, and this is his happy place. Absolutely. This is my escape from my work life and the stresses of the world. Too many tanks. Never too many tanks. Crip says, I need to start learning to sell. Have around 100 Blue Bolt babies and juvies. She does. Amber says she likes to give me a hard time about it. Hey, how are you, man? Welcome to the stream. How are the Oscars doing? That's another thing. The sponge filters are a good place for babies to grow, babies to graze, so that way they can, live their best lives on there. I got any tanks on the bottom I can showcase? I wonder if the new backlines will come out for some food. You know what? I'm going to give the rest of the tanks another week. We're going to stick to staring at the coal tank because it's so pretty. Unless you guys want me to switch tanks. If you'd like me to switch tanks, type a 1 in chat. If you'd like me to stay on the coal tank, type a 2 in chat. We'll do that. See what you guys think. Says he's doing great. Sunshine Pleco is very timid, so I see him every now and then, but both are in excellent health. Good. Yeah, you'll have to send me some pictures. Let me know how they're doing. Brian says, I have several tanks, but I'm having trouble keeping them at a stable temperature. How do you keep yours? Was thinking on a chiller since where I live, PR, it gets really hot. I live in Arizona. I live in a desert. So we actually keep our house at 72. I have an overhead fan on high that I keep on 24/7. And they fluctuate between, 72, 71, right around there, but they do pretty good. Short-term memory loss. What was number 1? I see 1, 2. I think 2 is the coal tank. We got 2 votes to stay where we're at, 1 vote to switch. Your Oscars are going to eat them. Are you going to put them in another tank or keep them in that tank? Yeah, Oscars are notorious for destroying plants. They like to shred them. The dolphin. It's my lovely Xbox headset. All right, I think we'll stick on the coal tank for today. New Local Austin says, welcome to Plants Killing. They don't die all at once now. Enjoy the ride. Now you'll learn. You'll get the hang of it. My issue with the Oscar tank was just algae. I got purple hair algae like crazy when I had the light on it. So I actually had a light on my Oscar tank for a while, and I couldn't keep the algae away. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't have a light now because it was just the purple hair algae was crazy. You can actually go back and look at my past videos and see I had some Amazon swords in there that was doing really well, but they would just get tore up. Indy would pluck them out of their little pots I made for them. I can't believe how clear this picture is. Like these shrimp look absolutely amazing in this tank. I'm gonna have to get some footage of this tank. These guys are beautiful. I love the coal tank so much. I should buy some nice shrimp and just throw them in here. I'll just get some crazy stuff going. I should actually start selling some of my coals. Once I get some more juveniles, right now they're all adults. Set up a little 8-gallon tank for the plants. There you go. That's the way to do it. So Tim says, have any crossbreeding projects you are wanting to do in the future? I want to take my green apples and mix them with the orange eye blue tigers. So if I'm not mistaken, orange eye blue tigers are not Caridina serrata. They are Caridina marii. So I want to see what happens if you mix a Caridina serrata with a Caridina marii and just see what kind of offspring they have. So I think it'd be cool to mix either the green apples or like a tangerine tiger with an orange eye blue tiger and seeing what happens. I'm pretty sure they could cross. I don't see why not. I know some Caridinas aren't compatible, but that's more of like your Paracaridina and like Caridina Sulawesi and whatnot. Some of those are not going to be compatible together. But I think that would be an interesting cross, is to see what would happen if you crossed an orange eye blue tiger with a tangerine tiger. If I crossed like my green apples with an orange eye blue tiger, because I want to see if I can get the green to show up more. But if I'm crossing an orange eye blue tiger with a green apple, then it's no longer a green apple, because green apple is strictly serrata. So I'm not sure. If Grant was here, I'm sure he would tell you. Hey, Ruben, how are you? Shrimp pimping himself. Welcome to the stream. Kevin Tam says, do you DIY your tank lid? So I've made a couple DIY lids. See if I can grab one over the years. And my first rendition was just light diffuser, and I put a little handle on there with some hot glue. But this thing is, this is super flimsy. So this bows, it bends, and it didn't work out very well. So the second lid that I made, let's see if I grab another one, is I just use plexiglass. I'm going to drip water all over myself, but that's okay. So I use plexiglass, and this still bows. So if you look at it, it bows. But what I like about the plexiglass is I can actually just flip this over. So if I put it in the tank this way, it's going to bow the other way and straighten itself back out, to where the other one is just really flimsy. It falls into the tank and it just bows too much. So the plexiglass lids weren't bad, but if you can get corrugated roofing material, so there's some greenhouse material that like Home Depot carries, and for a like 4x8 foot sheet, it's like $100. But in that 4x8 foot sheet, you should be able to get 10 tanks out of it, 10 to 14, something like that, if I did my math correct. I had, when I was building the shrimp room before we moved into the house, I had done the math on everything to figure out how much it was going to cost, and I figured it was going to be about $2,500 to, keep or to build the shrimp room how I wanted. But the lids was one thing that I wanted to do, and right now I have mostly just the $12 10-gallon lids that you get at PetSmart, and those work really well. It's just not cost effective when you have so many tanks, which I'm debating on just buying those, because by the time I buy the tools, by the time I make the lids, it's, if I can just, cycle through lids. As I set up a tank, I'll go buy a lid, and then I have extra lids that I've made to kind of combat. So if I set up like 2 tanks, then I only buy 1 lid, and I'll figure it out as time goes on. If I buy like 1 lid every so often, then I can just swap out the ones that I pre-made. I've got a few pre-made in the garage that I can utilize if I need to. You're going to get Blinky from The Simpsons. If you cross orange eye with other tiger, can the orange eye pass to the offsprings? Yeah, so it takes a few generations, but the orange eyes can cross over. Usually you won't see those from the first F1s. It'll take it to probably to like an F3, F4 before you really see anything. Jamie says 68 degrees Fahrenheit here, Kyle. Had to turn on the AC. Oh my gosh. I am freezing at anything below 70. It's like 110 2 days ago. Exactly. Just relishing in our misery. It's not too bad. Amber's lived here her whole life. I've been here over 12 years. So you deal with it. Keep your AC going. All that fun stuff. It drops to 35 at night now. That's crazy. So that's a 30-degree just change there. I think I've got enough tang ties in this tank that I can actually set up a tang tie tank if I wanted to. Tang tie tank. Say that 3 times fast. Tang tie tank. Tang tie tank. Tang tang tank. Tang tang tank. Tang tie tank. I get a little punchy. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Throw all the tang ties in there, and then I could throw that one black tang tie I have. Babe, I need more tanks. We need to go Petco. We need to get more tanks. I need to set up my central airline system before I get any more tanks. That's what I need to do, because then I can get rid of some of these air pumps I have. Because right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 air pumps running in here, and if I can get rid of those and just set up one, that would be ideal. You learn summer is not a time for outdoor activities. Yeah, we don't have seasons here. We have hot. It's not as hot, and then why is it so cold for this week? This week was really cold. Why is it cold? And then it goes back to it's not so hot. Yeah, there's this stuff. It's the stuff that's in the fish tank. This is the water that we use. It's falling from the sky, and it's not something I'm used to. And there's these big white fluffy things in the sky. It's taking over the blue. Normally it's just blue in the sky, but there's these big white fluffy things. Did Kyle do a dance? Did I do a dance? I don't remember dancing. As a follower, Amber, Kyle needs more tanks to fill the rack. You got to be professional. I can fit 14 more tanks on this rack. I can do it. That's accurate. That is totally accurate. Yeah, I live in Texas. We have summer and February. Yeah, there's like 6 weeks you could grow lettuce here. Ruben says, I cut glass for my lids. Works great. I have a 3-inch opening to feed. Just make sure to measure it like 3 times before cutting. Yeah, I measured these plexiglass lids a couple times, and I still messed them up. They don't fit right, but plexiglass was free, so that's always nice. She did. So we had some extra money that we weren't expecting, and I told her I was going to spend it on bills, and she's like, "No, you buy shrimp with it." And I told her, "No." I'm like, "We need to pay bills." And she's like, "No, you have to buy shrimp with it." And so if I didn't buy shrimp with it, she was going to, and she was going to buy me more tanks instead. And that was when I reached out to Grant. And I'm like, "Hey, I got $100. Send me some shrimp. And that was when I got that mystery box from him, which was nice. So all his shrimp are doing good. I'm not going to say anything. Every time I say something, something happens. Thanks for the shrimp. That's as far as I'm going to say. It's like last stream. I was like, yeah, Cold Tank's doing great. It's fabulous. An hour later, why are they dying? I swear, every time I say something on stream or in my videos, like I just jinx myself. Like the next day, like there's issues arising. Laura says, hey, do what I did. $5 tank at yard sale site. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, especially the $1 per gallon sale. That usually works really well. And Myers says, you guys are making me jealous. Anybody who wants to trade houses with me and live in rainy Northern Europe. Hey, if there was pink shrimp out there, she would. Laura says, I think Amber needs to make one tank for her shrimp. Ruben asks, what substrate is that? It is Brightwell. So Brightone Escura. Or this might be Cafe. No, this is the Escura. And it's the fine because you don't want the babies to climb in it. Zen says, I'm in Houston. We did have that gnarly week-long freeze a couple years ago that killed half my fish. And then like 2 weeks later, I was sweating again. It's awful. Yeah, I heard about that. It was snowing like crazy out of nowhere. And that's how you know the apocalypse. Apocalypse is coming. I take care of the business side of Poseidon's Pets. I also have the dogs and chinchillas to take care of. Well, you can get your own tank. I'll take care of it for you. We'll set up another tank for you. I was debating on either doing another rack like I have the 20 gallon and the Caradinas on, or the coal tank on. But I don't know because I still have room for more tanks up above. So why build another rack when I still have room on the rack I have? But I like the storage that I have. I like being able to, put the pumps up there. So we'll see how it goes. I actually culled a bunch of the green apples today. So I walk into the shrimp room this morning to do my daily shrimp room checks, check for deaths, check for, bubbles, make sure all the tanks are doing what they're supposed to do and everybody's happy and healthy. And I look at the green apple tank and all the males are doing their dance. All the males are just swimming around trying to find that female that just molted. So I knew that one of the females had molted and that she was ready to, be buried. So all the males were hunting her out, checking her out, trying to find out where she was. So all the males in the tank are just swimming around. And I've been thinking about it lately that I don't control my breeding as much as I should. So I've been wanting to separate the males out, not all the males, but pull some of them. So I've been wanting to take some of the males out of the tank. So that way my male to female ratio is better because, having a few males is nice, but having 20 males in a tank, you don't need that many. You want to pick your best males. You want to add just a few to the tank. So as they were swimming around, I caught like 20 males in a deli cup and I culled out all the ones that were mostly orange. I kept the ones that were more blue. So that way I can, control those genes a little bit more. But I think I put like 12 males in the coal tank today. So I was excited about that. I was like, all right, yeah, I got some of the males out of that tank. So I don't have so many males. I can have more females and more breeding going. Because if you've ever kept Serrata shrimp, they are some of the most ravenous, carnivorous shrimp there are. I had a shrimp that was struggling to molt And as soon as like it laid on its side, they attacked it. It was still moving, still alive, and they didn't care. They went straight for it. They had it in pieces in a matter of minutes. And so those tanks are the hardest to see if you're having deaths. If you find a dead shrimp in your Serrata tank, that means that you've had multiple and they're just full. They can't eat anymore. Either that or it just died and they're not hungry at the moment. But like Shelly Speed at Lucky Aquatics, me and her were talking, and we were talking about how, you know, tangerine tigers and serratas, they're just some of the most ravenous, brutal shrimp there are. So having too many males in a tank, they'll get to a point to where they'll actually attack the females that just molted and destroy her just because they're trying to get at her. So by taking some of those males out, it's it's better for the females because they'll get tore up just trying to do their thing, and it's not a good thing. So you want to take some of those males out. So the Queen of England died. If that can happen, anything goes. Yeah. Purple shrimp. There's a few purple metallics out there. Tim from Crypt Keeper Aquatics, he just spent a pretty penny on some, purple shrimp. Thank you, Nightbot. If anybody would like to become a member and support my shrimp and my YouTube channel, definitely appreciate it. You get to get all of these lovely emojis, so you can do an emoji bomb with us. All my members out there, emoji bomb. So if you would like to become a member, feel free to click that link. Have 3 tiers, $1, $2, and $10, whatever you want to do. You get access to the emojis in all of them. Jamie says, you don't want to create pink shrimp. Yeah, pink shrimp is a euphemism for dead shrimp because they turn pink when they die. Someone tell Grant Amber needs pink shrimp. I want a Barbie pink shrimp. I make pink shrimp too. I'm good at making pink shrimp. I want a yellow and black panda. Can someone make them already? That would be pretty cool. Hey, Jay Oliver, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Meyer says, by the way, my Oscar is turning out to be a little like good old Indy. Little bugger keeps biting my fingers and even the back of my arm when I dunk food in for the pleco. Oscars are too fun. They got some aggressive attitudes. Right? Yeah, let's get some black and pink shrimp. Those would be cool. Can all these females just have their babies already? Like, come on, drop those eggs. I want to see this tank overrun with shrimp. I'm really liking those tank ties. Like that was a big one that just swam off. Looked like a female. Yeah, those tank ties are really cool. Ruben says, my purple Nanashis are one of my favorite. Is it Nanansi? Nanasi? I know there's Nanashi. Is it Nanasi? Yeah, I've seen some of them. They look really nice. How's the colony doing? Is it producing some good purples for you, or are you having to cull out a bunch? Papa Shrimp says, Ruben, black and yellow would be awesome. Absolutely. It'd be cool to get something going like that. The tangerine tigers are kind of black and yellow. I'm telling you, Jamie, this is my favorite tank. Like anybody who wants to set up a shrimp tank, just get a bunch of Caridina shrimp, get some crystals, get some Taiwan bees, get some tangerine tigers. Like just throw them all together. Like, throw them all together, see what happens. You're gonna get some cool stuff. So this is I'm probably on like my F2, F3 for some of these shrimp. So when you breed shrimp together, your first generation is called an F1. So those F1s, depending on what you bred, will usually be like one of the parents. So like with like a crystal black with a blue bolt, the blue bolt genes are going to be more recessive. So your first F1 generation is probably going to be mostly crystals. So you're going to see some crystal reds, some crystal blacks. And then after that, your F2 is when you'll start seeing maybe some more blue bolts. So as you go down the line, you'll start to get some interesting stuff after your second and third generation. So just throw some shrimp in a tank, see what happens. I'm sure that's how some of these breeders got these purples and crazy stuff going on. Ruben says there are some red galaxy fish bones with pinkish white. Okay, so that kind of leads me to believe that the purples came from that red. Do you think they came from like a Serrata cross, or how do you think they made those? Do you think somebody took some, maybe some like wine red Pentos and crossed them with like some type of blue, maybe like a blue Serrata or something? I can't imagine that they're a Serrata shrimp. Because what is the Nanasi? I've got a poster I was looking at. I'm still learning like everybody else. There's so many trade secrets that nobody wants to share anything. I made a couple Facebook posts about let's type in some crosses. Tell me a cross that you like, and like just dead air silence. Nobody wanted to post. Nobody wanted to say anything. So it's it's all secrets. Nobody wants to share anything, that's unfortunate for the hobby. Like if I figure something out, I'll tell you. I don't care. All right, so yeah, that Tang Tai up front, that's definitely a female. You can see by the body type. She's gorgeous. Oh, I'd love to set up a tank for those. I need to empty a tank. What tank can I empty? All right, crystal reds are going in the crystal tank. I'm setting up a tank for those guys. It's official. Setting up a Tang Tai tank. They're just so cool looking. That means I got to catch all the Tang Tais out of this tank. Yeah, I've got a golden bee tank that has 3 males in it. I need to get some more golden bees, and I'm debating on just tossing the golden bees into the coal tank, not even bothering with a golden bee tank, and then that way I have another tank to mess with. But I've got crystal reds that I got from the shrimp contest that are breeding like crazy. Absolutely, some gorgeous shrimp coming out of that tank. So I don't want to move them. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll move the golden bees to the coal tank. What do you guys think? So I've got a crystal tank right now with crystal blacks and crystal reds that I can add my crystals to. There's 5 crystals, 2 female, 3 males, and a bunch of babies. And then I have my golden bee tank, which I was debating on setting up, getting some more golden bees. So should I move the golden bees to the coal tank, add some more Taiwan or some more crystal genetics, or should I move the crystals to the crystal tank? That makes the most sense. Crystals with crystals. Why am I going to have 2 crystal tanks? But I'm pretty sure these are a pure red line, to where the rest of mine are not a pure red line. So do I mix my pure reds with my crystals, or do I move my golden bees and take my Tang Tais and put them in there? Because I'm really liking these Tang Tais. I want to put them in their own tank. I want to. So you guys tell me, what should I do? I'm gonna catch up on chat while you give me your answers. Everyone cool tanks are best. Absolutely. Black and yellow. How about orange and blue? Go Broncos. I have a Muck Carradina tank set up 20 gal, put some blue bolts, red crystal, black crystal, tank tie, shadow pandas with a couple golden bees. That sounds exactly like this tank, minus the fancy tigers I have, as well as the Calcios. So in my coal tank, I actually have blue bolts, Shadow Missouri, crystal reds, crystal blacks, tangerine tigers, orange eye blue tigers, green apple coals, crystal or black calcios, black fancy tigers, red calcios. So there's all kinds of shrimp in this coal tank. Absolutely a lot. So I noticed the views are dropping. Papa Shrimp Jerry just started his stream at 5, so I'm sure that's where everybody's jumping over to. But we'll catch up on chat. We'll figure out what you guys think as far as switching the tanks over. Turn my 30-gallon into a Dutch-style tank with plastic plants, all kinds of flashy colors. Turn it into a simple, easy to keep South African community tank. That's awesome. Papa Shrimp says, would love to get a real chart/book with better explanations. We need to form a group and gather the minds to put one together. Absolutely. If you're still in here, Jerry, Grant has been trying to do this for a while. He has a Facebook group that he is working on genetics. I'll send you a link to it. Shrimp Pimpin says, I'm talking about something different, Kyle. Purple babies take a long time to grow, and purple pops more when they are semi-adults. Okay, gotcha. Jamie says, crystals and golden bees into the coal tank. Okay. Why would I move the good crystals into the coal tank though? Like they're nice looking crystals. It's not a bad idea, Laura. Papa Shrimp, make a group and assign everyone a crossbreed to do results. And Myers, Corey's, Peppers, Bronze, Vanillas, and Orange, Duplicarius. Nice. If there aren't already and golden bees in the coal tank, I'm all for introducing new genetics to see what happens. All right. So Zen, I think I'm with you because my thoughts were I can set up a golden bee tank. I can set up a golden bee tank at any time. These are some really nice golden bees, and I was hoping to, get them going with some more to keep those genetics, but let's add those genetics to the coal tank. Why not? I'm with you. I'll mull it over. You guys will have my answer. I will do a video on it. I'll pray on it and see what I feel is best, and then I'll decide. But I'm with you. Amber says, you don't have any female golden bees, though. No point in keeping them separate. Yeah, but these are adults, so the lifespan on them, they're not going to have much longer because they're some large males, and adult shrimp they don't live very long. So I was hoping to get those genes into a female, but I'm with you. If I've got nothing else in the tank, I might as well add some tank ties to that tank and see how they do, especially because I have so many. Like there's so many tank ties in this tank and they're gonna make more. There's already tangerine tigers in this tank as it is. So, all right, I'll decide and then I'll do a video on it and we'll go from there. What your wife said, yes. Let them do the dirty before they die. Okay. All right, so we're losing viewers. Jerry is starting his stream over at Papa Shrimp. So everybody, let's run there to his channel so that way we can, go and bombard him and bring all the love. So I'm gonna post a link so we can go over there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna post that link in here so we can all go over to Jerry's channel, and then I will close it out here. I removed the wrong one. Definitely removed the wrong one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. This has been a good stream. Thank you to all my members. Thank you to all my lovely members of the Shrimp Fam who come in here and spend the time with us. Like I said, I don't want to take too much time out of Jerry's stream, so we're going to go ahead and bombard him. I posted the link. Go on over to his channel, watch his stream if you want to see some more shrimpy content. So thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, 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 bye. Gotta click in,